we looking at?
Ah, stupid battle droids, get out of the way! Hello there. This is General Grievous, and you are watching Southern Comic Geek.
Roger, roger.
What is going on YouTube? Southern Comic Geek coming to you with a random video. You know that happens a whole bunch of times. What's up, Tricky Trapster? How are you? Yes, this is a random video with a lot of unboxings from a lot of different random places, if you will. And so we've got action figures, we got comics, we got all this other kind of good stuff. Comic Mag Musings, hello, hello. How are you doing? And before we get into all of this comic book goodness, go ahead and smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as the bell notification. So when videos like this go up ever so randomly, you will be one of the first people to know. I can make the conscious decision as to whether or not to watch an hour later. As long as you watch it, we appreciate you. Talking about people we appreciate, how about the list of channel members, people that are supporting the channel through their monthly membership? If you are interested in the benefits of monthly membership, the links are in the description below. It's always a good time to save some money, and it's these rising costs associated with protecting those valuables that we call comic books, cards, etc. Visit bcwsupplies.com. Use the coupon code SCG at checkout to save yourself 10% on your order. And we've got Justin Birch, Mr. Action Figure himself, whom I'm going to blame for some of these purchases. I just recently picked up these retro, what's going on, Tim, the comic collector. I recently picked up these retro card TMNT. So I had picked up the Leo and the Michelangelo at one place, and they had a Donatello, but it looked like it had been beat up by the Foot Clan. So I was able to pick up a Donatello at one place and a Raph at the other. So the circle is now complete. I don't think I'm going to let these open and breathe just because I like the retro card on there. I've got my original movie neck-up figures that are unboxed and in the case with the TMNT #1. So we'll go with that. So I'll blame you, Justin Birch, for that little rabbit hole and other rabbit holes like these, of course, where they can breathe. There is that. All right. But I also picked up this cool Polaris pop at GameStop last night. It glows in the dark, the eyes as well as the little magnetic whatever. It glows as well. So it says it's a fall convention. I've been told by pop collectors that don't always mean anything, but picked it up because it was pretty dope. And I also picked up this one as well. Another deal. I was able to pick this up for $15. $15 at GameStop. The people at GameStop, my local GameStop, they know what I like to pick up. And so the dude messaged me and said, "Hey, man, we got this one in." So he put it on hold for me. It was $15. And so now I only need the Rogue to complete the set. So to get the Rogue, I'm going to unbox those and build that Colossus Build-A-Figure. What's going on, Mr. Comics 89? And if y'all are just now showing up, I believe I dropped a link. If you want to join, just chit-chat it up. I don't have an awful long time, but if you wanted to chit-chat it up about anything comic related, feel free to jump in. Managed to pick this up at Infinity Comics there in Monroe, Louisiana. Absolute Swamp Thing by Alan Moore. And if you watch my video from the Maui Comic Hall, you notice I got an older hardback graphic. Well, why don't you just rub it in? Why don't you just rub it in? So I got a older graphic novel of the Absolute Swamp Thing, it was a Swamp Thing, and it had most of the stories that are in this one, but it didn't have all of them. So this one goes forget what issues this one goes to. I saw it somewhere on here, but this one had a few more issues than that one did, and it's a really nice. This is the one that has the fuzz there, and of course the bookmark. So not as nice as an old comic smell, but nevertheless. So I've done finished reading that, and I ordered volume 2 off of Amazon. Was able to get that off of cover price, so it wasn't all that bad. All that bad. Fuzz. That's right, peach fuzz. So pick these up from MetaHumans Comics off of Whatnot. Excuse me. Speaking of Whatnot, I will probably be on Whatnot in just a little bit. I want to try to maybe get a show in before. I'm going to check out and see what all is going on there right now. But I wanted to get a show in before because the big shows start. So the big shows being, Wednesdays they have Comic Tom and his crew. And then Fridays, like Wink Inc. and a lot of those guys, they're going to be doing it. And so I hate to try to compete in those time slots. So I'd rather see if I can do it beforehand. I picked these up from MetaHumans Comics. This is Livewire #1, so a little Valiant goodie. And some of these I already have, but they were just so cheap. Nobody was bidding on. So I decided to, tricky. So I just decided to pick it up. This is actually a MetaHumans exclusive. And I already had this Stray Dogs, but it was only like $1. So I decided to pick it up. Amazing Spider-Man 264. Again, nobody was bidding on it. Not one that I'm looking for myself, but it is, nobody was bidding on it, so I decided to pick it up. I got a couple of copies of Primordial #1, which I have copies of already, but they went cheap on me. They've started putting all these boards and bags or comics in the same bag and board. Pick this up. This is a pretty cool David Finch cover. I'm not a Spawn collector, but it was a really cool cover, and it didn't go for much. Since I have it, I might read it. Back in the day when Spawn first came out, I got like the first 9 or 10 issues and sold them and thought I made a mint, which I did. I made more money than it cost me to buy them, but never been a Spawn collector. But yeah, so there were several of these. This is the Kate's cover, the David Finch cover. I also picked up this, and just to resell, the Invincible Red Sonja. If she was invisible, all of her wit and charm is gone. All right, so Spawn Universe, the J. Scott Campbell cover. That's one to resell there. And those are kind of thick books. I think there's a higher cover price. And I've bought from MetaHumans before. Actually, one of my glass covers that Valiant done, I got it from MetaHumans. And we exchanged some messages back and forth. And I bought this Ninjak #1. This is the David Nakayama cover from the current Ninjak run, which I'm not a huge fan of. But this is the gold logo version. And I was able to complete that purchase on the side, and because he had not mailed my Whatnot books, he just kind of slid that one in there, so I didn't have to pay any extra shipping. Did you show your Monopoly Men pops together side by side? No, I did not, but let's see, there they are right up there, the get out of jail free one, and then the regular Monopoly Man. I also see where they have a soda. I think Papa Willie actually did a video on those sodas, so I'm going to have to see about getting some of those. All right, let's see here. We got Ninjak #2, the David Nakayama cover. Then we got Walking Dead #1. This is the MetaHumans. They did a bunch of reprints, and he pointed something out I wasn't aware of, but a lot of these little covers, like there's Outcast, Giant Size X-Men #1, Action Comics #1, Tech 27. A lot of, I would imagine it takes a lot of work. Invincible #1, Walking Dead, some issue down here, Oblivion Song. I imagine it takes a lot of work to draw those things to the point to where you can see them, but so small like that. But that was kind of neat. That one will probably stay in the PC. This is one of those bad idea comics, but I hope it wasn't a bad idea for me to pick it up. I already got it. I just was it was so cheap, and I was already getting stuff anyway. Then we got Quantum and Woody #1. Not sure what cover this is, but decided to pick it up. What is going on, Mark? Legion of Comics, the Viragian Vigilante. What is up? What is up? And then we got Batman 100. Not a huge fan of this cover, but the Batman 100, I think, is what, a $8 at least cover price, and picked it up for a couple of bucks. So if I decide I want to keep it and add it to the growing Batman collection, I can, or I can just sell it to somebody else who wants to pick that up. Either way. VV, check this out. Picked up these, just showed them off on my IG, but they came I bought them off of eBay. They came all the way from Thailand, and it took forever. And I tell you, because I've been to Thailand before, and it is a very, very long flight. The funny thing about these foreigns is they'll have local stuff in there, has nothing to do with the comic. Somebody's advertising Garfield stuff, which this came out in '93, so kind of more understandable why they're advertising Garfield stuff. Check out those computers that they're advertising there. Of course, you can get you a little strawberry bar there, if you so like. I think that's kind of the point, right? I think it's kind of the point, for sure. But let's see what else we got here. Oh, these are all the ones from. Yep. Bought a whole bunch of books to sell. Managed to find some that I was also interested in keeping. Amazing Spider-Man Hit and Run. Had this back in the day. Of course, this is trying to teach these kids not to get hit by cars, which can be kind of persnickety at times. This is the American version of it. There is a Canadian one as well. X-Men #3. This is the Pizza Hut version. This was the only one I was lacking. There are 4 that originally you could get with a personal pan pizza and a cup. And yeah. Batman the Imposter. Had to go with the Bermejo cover. Very dope. Sorrentino on the art on this one. Definitely like the vibe of the Batman the Imposter. Picked up Dr. Aphra. Don't know if I'm going to continue to pick up Aphra. It was one of the Star Wars titles that I did not pick up back before War of the Bounty Hunters. Now that War of the Bounty Hunters is over with, of course, now they are doing what Marvel does best, and that's going from event to event. Now they're going to be doing it in Star Wars. So I don't know if I'm going to keep on picking up Aphra or not. Somehow I missed Future State Gotham. Realized it when I got the newest version. So I was managed to pick up this one at a different shop. This is issue 6, the one I had missed. I like it. Black and white's kind of cool to me. Cool story. I like the other story that's in the back of it as well with Bruce Wayne. He's trying to go through this whole thing. This is how they're going to do. This is what's going to go down. And Damian's like, screw that. I just want to go in there and whop them. And, and one point he says, hey, I'm Batman. I jump down, whatever. And then he, when it all goes down to it, Damian jumps down and says, I'm Robin. It was kind of funny. Star Wars, The High Republic. It's been okay, lackluster at best. Definitely more excited about the Old Republic, provided they don't just butcher it. Justice League, The Last Ride. Never have been really big on collecting the Justice League, but with Chip Zdarsky on it, Mark suggesting it, I gave it a shot. I really liked this series. At the end, kind of a spoiler alert, but at the end, basically they say we're Justice League Universal. So I don't know if that's going to lead into another series. Maybe Mark or another DC aficionado in the chat can elaborate, but I think they were definitely setting up for that. Now, this looked kind of cool. Is the world of Krypton, the end where it all began. What made it cool to me is cover by Miko Suyan and then Robert Venditti. I'm a big Robert Venditti fan. He's definitely a writer that is very good. Tony Fett, what is up? That's right. Hey, look, the comic companies love us because they know that they can still, throw, crappy books here and there in the middle of the run, and they know that we're still going to pick them up because I don't want to break my run. We've got Scarecrow's Comic Asylum. What is going on? I thought that they were canceling Hellions, which is the surprise series, the one I was most shocked to like. And maybe this is the last one. And anyways, I've actually enjoyed the dynamic between all of the characters in here. And it's been a really good story. Zeb Wells doing that, who is now doing Spider-Man since Spencer has left. I don't know if he's going to be doing Spider-Man going forward when Peter comes back or not. But as of right now, that's who's doing it. I bought Superman in Action comics from the start, but it was the writing and the caveman art by JR that made me finally drop it. I rarely pick up anything but back issues on super titles. Okay, Johnny Five Alive. What is going on? Then we got Joker number 9. Definitely a dope cover. I've been enjoying this comic. I wish, however, I had waited and I'll show you in a minute, because I got the other covers on this. Robin and Batman number 1. Just what DC needed, another Batman series. At some point you think that there would be Batman saturation, and I guess there will be. Because they're not going to stop before it gets there. When the sales start dipping, then that's when they'll change their mind. But with Jeff Lemire on the writing, and I'm going to butcher his name, so I'm not going to attempt it. Maybe I will. Nigan or whatever. Definitely wanted to pick that up. And this segues into Ascender. So Descender was the original series. Ascender was the follow-up series, which just ended. And this is the trade that came out. I know that John's Comics with Kids and several other people did a show on Ascender and December. Appreciate that. Johnny Five Alive dropping the $2 super chat. Thank you, good sir, for making it rain in the right direction. Yes, that's right. But Perry Comics, ooh la. If you have not picked up Descender and then Ascender, especially if you are a Jeff Lemire fan, pick it up. Highly recommended. Sharon's Pops and Plants. Just to stop in and show support. Got to go play in my gardens. Hey, appreciate you for stopping by. Smash that like button if you haven't already. But yeah, this is a very interesting read. Essentially, it's a war of flesh or humans against the robots. The robots leave, magic comes into the picture, and then you find out the correlation between magic and the humans and robots in Ascender. But it's definitely a cool read. Cutting toenails. Oof, that's rough. So this is the current issue of Gotham, Future State Gotham. And of course, it's got some anime vibes and all that other kind of Japanimation type deal. Really cool scene right here where he's getting whooped, and he starts remembering back to when the Joker whooped him. He said, "I've had worse." Then we got Batman Urban Legends number 9. I enjoyed the Chip Zdarsky Red Hood story in there. I think that one has ended now. I have not read this issue yet. So let's see who the writers Not recognizing any of them. So anybody in the chat read Urban Legends to tell me whether or not this one's any good? The backup stories that have been in here with Black Lightning and stuff, it's okay, but I definitely enjoyed the Red Hood story first and foremost. So there is that. I'm not sure, Perry. Most everything that they do at DC now is a maxi series to 10 to 12 issues. So I imagine you're probably right. Joker number 9. So I mentioned earlier, I wish I would have waited. That's because I ended up getting these connecting covers right here. Some Miko Sion goodness. Aggressively relaxing. What is going on? Heard Perry's toenail DNA turn into dominatrix. True story. That story checks out. What is going on, Mark? How are you?
Good. Just woke up from a nap.
Mug and everything.
Full of eggnog because it's Christmas time.
Is it spiked eggnog?
Mm-hmm. You don't want me spiking eggnog.
So got this Incredible Hulk as well. Incredible Hulk 196.
Nice. Some of the best covers out there.
Did you see the tease for She-Hulk?
I did. I saw it. It was exciting and too short. I'm definitely excited for that one. I don't know why I'm excited for it, because I'm probably going to watch it and be like, man, because that's just where a lot of MCU stuff takes me these days. Is man. But I was excited to see that Banner's arm is regenerated.
Mm-hmm.
It should have happened instantaneously. There's no logical reason that it didn't. If his arm still existed, it should have happened instantaneously. I don't know if, I haven't seen any breakdowns, but I'm sure somebody will address this very quick. When she stole the "Don't make me angry, you wouldn't like me when I'm angry" line, if you look at Bruce, the outfit that he's wearing is a classic Bill Bixby outfit from the greatest Hulk appearance ever from the original TV show. That's
right.
Still the gold standard for Hulk for me.
Sure. Yeah, I mean the things that they were able to do prior to CGI being.
It's just good storytelling too. Even taking the time era into account, a lot of that show still holds up today. The stories they did and just how well done it was. There was a reason why it was syndicated for 30, 40 years after it ran its course or premiered.
Yeah, and I've watched several interviews that they've done back with Stan Lee when he was still alive, and Lou Ferrigno and others. And it's just interesting, the kind of the behind the scenes that went into making that show a reality, and the things that they wanted to do but decided not to do. Like the guy originally didn't want the Hulk to be green. That it really didn't show up as well. They said they wanted to make him red, in anger. And, Stan Lee's like, no, that would take away from the story, so on and so forth. Of course, later on, we would end up getting a red Hulk in the comics.
Mm-hmm.
But then the other thing where they changed his name in the TV show.
And why they changed it as well.
Right.
Wouldn't have had to change it these days, obviously.
No.
And they didn't abandon it. They just changed it to his middle name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was very interesting as well. And of course, these days they probably would have made him that way.
Yeah, and I thought it was also kind of funny that because the direction they chose to take the pilot to try to get the show sold, that's why they made him susceptible to bullets, and then they kind of pigeonholed him and had to honor that bullets could hurt him the rest of the show instead of going back on it or whatever. But the Hulk was susceptible to getting shot and stuff. He wasn't completely invulnerable. And I think he only punched 2 people in the entire run of the series, only swung 2 fists.
Yeah. Most of the time he was just hitting stuff, breaking stuff, that type of thing.
I think it was Stan Lee's first movie cameo as well, wasn't it? In Trial of the Incredible Hulk with Daredevil, he was one of the jurors.
Mm-hmm.
He lifted the entire juror stand.
Yeah, I
Which
remember watching.
kudos to him because he really did pivot that stand up. You know, he's a beast.
Well, he still is a beast. I mean, even at his age today, he's still like huge.
Good living.
But yeah, it was funny because I remember watching, you know, those made for TV movies, the Daredevil one and the Thor one too. Again, there some of those, you know, people are like, oh, look at the special effects. They just don't have any. But my goodness, I mean, what do we have to? I mean, that was like all you could get, right?
That was
And
TV
big
quality
stuff.
too. Like it was, if you go back and watch that first Thor and Hulk fight inside of the laboratory, that's a legit awesome fight scene. Like take out the, you know, computers weren't used, but they're like throwing large lab equipment, slinging each other through the air, taking hits from the hammer. And dude, that scene got me so hyped up as a kid, where Thor thought he was going to be King Kamehameha and finally hit him with the hammer, and he hits him with it, and he goes falling back, and he hits the lab equipment, gets shocked, and then the slow motion shot of Thor like cheering, and then he just goes straight face, like what? And Lou just comes off the wall, puts the mean face on, and just starts walking, and Thor's like, oh no. Next thing you see is Thor flying through the window outside. Well, that's what I'm talking about. It was awesome.
Yeah, it was really cool. Talking about something else that's really cool and green as well. Did you see me show this off earlier?
I didn't. I did not. That's fantastic.
Okay. So yeah, I got this at the one of the LCSs that I go to, off of the cover price. Nice little fuzzy cover. I mean, it's really a well done book. You know,
that's one of those Ultimate Edition oversized guys.
Yeah, it's
That's amazing.
Got the bookmark. I went ahead and ordered the second volume on Amazon. It's on sale.
How much was it on Amazon, if you don't mind me asking?
$75.
Oh wow. What's the cover price on them? Like $125? Okay. Yeah, that's nice.
Yep. And then of course, you know, you got Prime. It's free shipping. So,
that's the run that defined Swamp Thing to this day.
Yeah. Yeah. And which I've been enjoying the Ron V, you know, stuff.
Hell yeah. That's fire.
So
good.
So they decided to extend Swamp Thing, but is he continuing to write, or is it going to be somebody else?
Yeah, Ron V, was it Mike Spicer?
So, Spicer or Perkins?
Perkins, Spicer, Spicy Perks, one of those people. They're coming back. They're coming back to do the next, what is it, 6 issues they extended it by?
Yeah, I think you're right.
It's Perkins and Spicer. So Perkins is on the art and Spicer's on the colors. And Spicer just came to mind because that's the way that this book is colored. It's impressive. There's some artists out there that when you put them with the right colors, it just changes the name of the game for them, for the better or for worse. But I just love the way that they use the colors in this to help set tone and like this. I mean, you don't have to wonder what the feeling in that room is when you look up and you see that, like with shades of green and purple and into the shadows, or when the building's in chaos and they're all running for their life and these vines are just taking over. They just see this whole sense of red and impending doom. And as they're trying to get out, the direction they're going is lit up blue, like a different color, like salvation is at the end, the light at the end of the tunnel. And it goes back to red and they don't make it, you know, like the colors are such a huge part of this story. It's just fantastic. Even the way that they do the speech bubbles for Levi and Swamp Thing, like you see as he's Levi, it's like a light tone of blue, but as the green takes over, it fades into the orange and the vines take over. You know, it's clever. They're just really clever down to the little details, which Ron V's ability to tell such a detailed, deep story that's so engaging and still action-packed is one of the very few reasons that I decided to pick up Venom 1 this week even.
So what'd you think about it?
Wasn't impressed, but I have to like kind of withhold like any kind of negative judgment because it is an issue 1. I honestly feel like reading enough comics and then looking at this one, you can tell where a new creative team is picking up not necessarily the story they want to tell, so we're having to set the stage and go ahead and start deconstructing what's there so they can reconstruct what they want. Yeah, that's what I would say in a nutshell if there wasn't more to it than that, Perry. But, you know, like I've said it numerous times, Donnie Cates took an anti-level or anti-hero street level villain that people loved and turned him into a handicapped, cosmic, omnipotent space daddy that has father issues of his own for no good reason whatsoever, just because he was fueling a hype train. Then Cates gets lost in his own head thinking people like what he's doing. They just like what they're making off what he's doing.
Sure.
It's unfortunate, but I think that we the readers have no idea what Al Ewing and Ron V want Venom to be and look like moving forward. And there's no matter what they want, there's a lot of road to cover to get him there.
Sure.
So,
Well, yeah, I didn't pick it up. I wasn't on the Venom train with Cates anyway because I just think he's so anticlimactic. You know.
I purely picked it up for the creative team of Al Ewing and Ron V. I want to see how this two heads is better than one thought on Marvel might work out, but I don't know. Both of them can write a solid story. Ron V is normally kind of a fair to middling writer, but he did amazing with Immortal Hulk. He's doing like really surprising stuff with We Only Find Them When They're Dead. But him and Ron V, I don't know if that'll play to their strengths or take away from them when they start doing the whole give or take thing on the storyboard. You know,
Right.
We'll see though. I trust their writing enough to give it a shot, especially Ron V more than anything. Everything that he touches is phenomenal.
So is he not going to be writing Catwoman anymore?
When the story arc's up, I don't know, because we're getting to the end of Fear State here. There's the title coming out next week that's a tie-in, which will be the Fear State finale for Catwoman, you know, which is the story of Harley and kind of getting Pamela's real mind back together with her, the Queen Ivy bullcrap. So that's going to be anticlimactic in the main title. They're probably going to play into the details in the Catwoman issue, because in that last issue of Batman, you know, she showed up with the other Ivy, the innocent Ivy, to try to talk Queen Ivy off the ledge of tearing down Gotham. So who knows? Really, who cares? They ruined his Catwoman run by making him do Fear State tie-ins.
Yeah, I mean, it was so which it happens. I mean, I was reading Savage Avengers and really actually liked it, and then they threw King in Black in there and made 0 sense. I mean, it had nothing to do with anything. And it wasn't even a good story. And you could tell, you know, you could feel like pain for the writer even to have the editorial board come to you and say, hey, you got to tie this in somehow away. It's like, what the crap? You just want me to pull it out of my rear end?
Same thing with Nightwing with Tom Taylor. They just bailed on the main story. Like, luckily for him, you know, Nightwing's a Bat character, but he's located outside the city. So it was as simple as, all right, I'll come back to this in a minute. I need to go check out what's going on over here. And so you could just literally in continuity abandon your ongoing story to go do a send-off. But they were kind of, I don't know, Ron V was trying to be a lot smoother with it early on in Catwoman. Part of what was going on was she found Poison Ivy kind of like in an auction house being sold or something like that, you know, and it was that innocent personality of Poison Ivy where she was split in two. But they're just now bringing that back in. Like, that's what they're using to talk Queen Ivy off the ledge.
Yeah, and, you know, a lot of times I get tired of, like, resets, if you will, on stuff. I like a continuous story. But when it comes to this current run of Batman, I'm looking for the reset.
Yeah, big, hard, fast. I think that it'll be very similar to what happened with Venom 1, except they don't have so much to do. Like, from what I heard, Williamson is just taking him out. Like, we're leaving Gotham. We're getting the hell away from this. I'm not even going to try to do damage control or clean up. We gone, which I think is a smart move.
Yeah. And then you'll have a triumphant entry again into Gotham. You know, Gotham's Dark Knight Returns at some point, you know, which is okay.
Yeah, of course he'll come home. Like, but it's going to be that'll be a cool aspect to get to play with. I mean, it's been done before where Bruce is missing, gone, or whatever. Nightwing stepped up before and put on the mantle. But it'll be cool seeing Gotham being able to operate without him there. But I don't necessarily need to see those stories written. I'm sure they're going to write the hell out of them and put them all over the place. But I don't really care.
Well, Williamson is another writer that I've come to like.
Oh, yeah.
And so he is taking over the things at Batman. So hopefully that will, you know, produce some good stories for the Dark Knight.
That Infinite Frontier 6-issue run that he did recently was stellar. I'm waiting for that Justice Incarnate miniseries to start. That's the direct follow-up for it.
Mm-hmm.
This whole powered up Psycho Pirate and Omega level Dark Side, I'm completely in for. Like it was so good.
So are they going to do a follow-up Justice League Universal?
I don't know, talking about To Last Ride.
Yeah,
Dude, I hope so, because that was another good story where like the meat and potatoes of the actual miniseries wasn't necessarily in the events taking place, but in the dynamic between the characters during the event. You know, the story was being told on the backstage, where on the front stage you have the action and everyone's coming for Lobo and blah blah blah. But the real story was just the team itself and their fractured relationships and those quiet moments when the action wasn't happening, like the little conversations between Wally and Batman while they were flying the javelin and stuff. It was really enjoyable. But then you'd have hilarious moments like Wonder Woman chopping off Lobo's head because he did his job and stuff, and Lobo just cussing and fussing about it. You know how long it takes me to grow my body back? That was awesome. Like it hit all the right notes. So that'd be cool if they followed it up.
I mean, it definitely did. And I mean, I read Justice League, the New 52 run of Justice League. But I've never been a big Justice League guy. And but Chip Zdarsky, I feel like just hit all the fan points for the interaction between those characters on the league. So
yeah, for me, the day I stopped picking up Justice League is because it's the day I quit collecting. In all sincerity, there's just some books that are going to stay on your pool list, good, bad, and different. On that, like the Hulk, Justice League, Batman, Superman, you know.
Yeah. Well, and right, because Justice League's one of those titles, like many, that have had big upswings and downswings. So did you like Snyder's run or Vendetti's run on Justice League?
Oh, dude, I loved Snyder's run. It was outrageous. So you could taste the metal in the air before we got to death metal. Like that's just Snyder style. But Jarro, best sidekick Batman ever had. Absolutely. It is so weird, and on paper it doesn't make any sense. When in practice the dynamic was like, this is just phenomenal. This is the best.
Yeah, that is kind of funny.
Yeah, that's sad that that's the most memorable thing about it, though.
So we got so what DC books am I missing on my pull that I should be pulling?
I don't know what you're pulling.
Well, all the Batman related titles, so Nightwing and Robin, and
you did get Dark Knights of Steel, right?
I had ordered it through 616 Comics, and so I was waiting on that copy.
What is that? The K.O. Newen cover with him on the throne?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a dope cover. I like that one, and I think it was Del Otto that kind of had like a side profile of Batman.
I thought about getting that one. I just, for a regular, even if it's an issue 1 and variant, I mean, a lot of times $15, I'm like, you know, I can kind of justify it if it's a limited run in my mind anyway. If it's a 3,000 print run or if it's a thicker book. But
now, did you see that Big Time Collectibles was doing the issue 1 exclusive for Venom, as well as the issue 118 for the upcoming Batman, where they have the BTC editions? It's limited to 300 copies, and all of them are pre-graded at a 9.8, and it has a custom label on it and sequential numbering. That's the coolest part, is the sequential numbering. So every single copy is actually registered and accounted for and won't be showing up secretly down the road somewhere else to make a buck. It won't be like there were 616 comics that showed up in Walmart packs.
Yeah, the what they call it, ratio or Walmart Gate, whatever they called it. But
yeah, both of those things. There were 1 in 1,000 Immortal Hulk books that showed up in Walmart packs, which I'm not salty that I didn't get one. I didn't buy any Walmart packs to try to get one, but I think it's I would have loved. I mean, I love the opportunity to get one, but at the same time, there's such a huge level of dishonesty coming from the people we trust to get these books to us as described.
Right, and you're buying that and paying the inflated price with the understanding that it is indeed limited. When you find out it's less than limited, then of course that lowers the value. That's one of the things that Todd McFarlane did with his King Spawn was if they were damaged, I think he let them send them back in. So he'll sign another one, but you got to send it back in. The old one, he tears it up. And he shows them tearing it up. And that way, hey, I'm not going to turn around and find another book all of a sudden when there's only supposed to be so many of them. Yeah, that was Diamond saying, hey, read between the lines, Marvel. Read between the lines.
Also, take into consideration, Diamond hasn't parted with Marvel yet. That's a lot of people are thinking that you can still order your Marvel books from Diamond, but you can also order them from Penguin. It's not one or the other. Like there's just multiple places to order Marvel books from now.
Yeah, but I mean that's taking money out of Diamond's pocket either way. So.
Yeah, it is. But it isn't like they were making it back by just throwing a overstocked book in a Walmart pack.
No, they're just cleaning out their warehouse.
The fact that many are printed and that they would put them in a Walmart pack as well. Like, why wouldn't they take care of their LCSs? That's what gets me the most. Like, why wouldn't you send those out? Even if you send them out willy-nilly. I mean, you don't bite the hand that feeds you. You never look at you never look a gift horse in the mouth. Like, if you send those things out to LCSs, like there is a finite number of brick and mortar stores that are all easy for a company like Diamond to know. You send books to all of them not long ago. You just start sending them out to those LCSs so they can try to sell them and make $1 and keep buying from you. Especially coming out of the pandemic, you know what I'm saying? Like we're in a pandemic where like our comeback's going to be stronger than our setback got passed around and all these like your shop's closing left or right and you don't take that into consideration. You throw them away. Walmart packs are you throwing away your merchandise. That's literally what it is for Diamond.
Well, and that's a great point. I mean, they're sitting there in a warehouse collecting dust because some of those ratios, I mean, those were 4 or 5 years ago ratios. So they've been sitting there and you could send those out to your point. They could get a little bit extra money. Hey, this is just a thank you for doing business with us because you have a vested interest in that comic shop staying open. And with less customers, that's not good for you, Diamond. And
especially, and it was coming at a time when you know that there was already discussions with them in Marvel about the upcoming move. So knowing that the people that you depend on to keep you in business and to keep you well fed are about to have another option like Penguin versus you, why wouldn't you be like sweetening the pot and letting them know they're appreciated? I mean, that would have been a strategic move, but like the Varangian Vigilante said, like we're assuming they're competent. That's what happens. That's what happens when you don't have competition for too long, and what happens when you just are honestly a company that doesn't. That happens more often than not now. You're not thinking about the people that you depend on because you felt independent for too long.
So now, of course, once everybody started going to Penguin or allowing that for an option, DC now looks like they had a crystal ball of sorts to see, like. Whereas everybody was sitting there saying, "Oh, you're so horrible, DC. You're so horrible." Now they're doing the same thing. DC seems like a genius. They were ahead of the curve for once.
And this isn't the first time people have stepped away from Diamond, but this is a whole new era that they're doing it in. Everything's improved since the last time they did it. So, and how bad can relations be at Diamond for all these companies to be seeking elsewhere, knowing the growing pains they're about to go through and the amount of money they're about to lose making the shift, but still wanting to make the shift.
Yeah, and where's Diamond salespeople that they're not sitting there saying, "What do we have to do to make this right?"
We'll give you this 1 in 1,000 variant right now.
Yeah, something. We got to make this right here. I mean, but so if you're of course taking your DC bias aside. Who do you
I don't have any of that.
You don't have any of that?
No DC boys.
So who do you think is doing a better job? In the chat, feel free to answer this as well. Just in talking about comics, not talking about multimedia and all that kind of franchise marketing, because obviously I would think Marvel hands down right now. I mean, now DC's got some good stuff in the pot brewing, but it hadn't come to fruition yet. We haven't seen. So, but on the comic side, who do you think is doing a better job now of marketing their wares? and putting out better content.
See, that's for me, and it's the sole reason why like I come off as such a DC guy right now to begin with. And I say this regularly, like when you read for long enough, you go through ebbs and flows with your pull list. Right now, my pull list is significantly heavier DC. That's not always the case through my life. It depends on what's going on and how things are going. You know, I follow the stories, but consistently since just a little bit before Death Metal, DC has just been dominating storytelling. There are definitely exceptions. You can find little small exceptions here and there, like Immortal Hulk, I would swear by. And but overall, DC's just doing a better job. They even cleaned up real nice after Death Metal. They did the future state thing to kind of correct save face from the 5G attempt. There was a lot of shakeups and shifting, and they had to limit down their monthlies. And since then, they've been rebuilding that monthly stock of books that are coming out, and they're doing a fantastic job of it, taking this new direction into limited runs, maxi series, black label books where the creators have room to spread their wings and do more freestyling opposed to being tied down and keeping their options limited because of other things that might be going on. And it's been for the best.
Yeah, and as a consumer, I don't like the price increases. However, if you can convince me that you're putting out a better product, then most people are not. They're okay with putting extra money out for a better product.
Well, you're not paying for the equal product at an equal price elsewhere. You're getting more for your buck, whether it be with DC's paper quality with their cardstock covers that are $1 more versus the standard covers. And when you go over to Marvel and look at a comparable standard cover, DC's paper quality is already light years better than Marvel's standard paper quality. Or if you look at the books that have the inflated prices because they're a higher page count, you're not paying more for a Batman book because it says Batman. You're paying more for a Batman book because it says Batman and has a bigger page count. Same thing with Action Comics right now. That's been one method that DC used to keep tight. And then we saw this happen with Marvel back when they were distributing books through DC. They weren't only allowed to have so many titles, so they added 2 characters to one book. Nick Fury and Doctor Strange, or Captain America and Iron Man, Hulk and Submariner. Those people shared books with each other to only take up 3 titles on the shelf. So if you want to see the Guardian, Mr. Miracle, the Authority, they were going to be in backup stories in Superman right now. Punchline, the Bat Family, the countless Robins are going to be in backups in Batman. You're still getting to check in on these characters that you like, opposed to not seeing them at all. And it's
and really it's an ingenious idea, because that's why they did it back in the day, because they were using characters that were established to build these new characters. Now, I don't know that they're building too many new characters these days. That's a different discussion. But taking those characters that may not have the fan base of the following, whether it's because people are unfamiliar with them, whether it's because they had horrible writers the last run, whatever. Okay. But they're putting those extra, you're getting those extra stories. And so people go, well, I never was a Mr. Miracle or an Aquaman fan, but now I'm looking at it and I'm going, hey, this is pretty good, right? And then if you get a big enough following, they can start doing a maxi series. And if you want to push it past that, then okay, go to a full series. But
some have hit, some have missed. It's like it's a testing ground. If you look at how what was it, Batman 106 was the first tie-in Batman book after the Joker War. It started out with Joshua Williams' backup story for Damian Wayne's Robin. And enough people like coming straight into the hype of wanting to catch up on Batman, who had been on hiatus for 2 months. They were willing to read it. Robin standalone title spun right out of that. And I personally don't enjoy it. I'm not picking it up anymore. It's just not my speed. But there are tons of people that talk about that book every week when it comes out in the community alone that are loving it, that are reading it, reviewing it, that they probably wouldn't have cared, tried, or tested it, otherwise. So they're wasting Punchline right now. They're just keeping her in the limelight as the backup in the Joker titles. But Joker only comes out as card stock, like $4 or $5.99 price tag in a backup story. But it's a miss for me.
Yeah, I mean, I've been enjoying Joker overall. It's more of a Commissioner Gordon story than it is Joker, but it's been good overall. Now the Punchline story behind there, I think, has been garbage, but
Like in jail and Orca and crap or whatever.
yeah, I just don't think it's really well done. And Tiny put out a lot of characters, but and now they're trying to really cement, I think, Ghostmaker as a Batman family member. Whether or not that sticks, we'll see. But I think overall, if you just looked at Marvel and their big franchises, X-Men, Avengers, I mean, those
Spider-Man, Cap.
Spider-Man. Okay, so you're talking about that's probably what percentage of their market share, just those
Well,
titles.
X-Men alone is 78% of the books they release every month.
So with X-Men, it's been lackluster at best. Now they've got Inferno and it's good, and actually I don't know if it's been substantiated or not, but rumors at least that Hickman is coming back, which could be good for the franchise overall. But yeah, I mean it has been lackluster. Avengers has been a total bore. They had to do World War She-Hulk for what reason? What reason?
Because the She-Hulk TV show was coming. It was just timed improperly. The World War She-Hulk should have started next week after the trailer came out today.
Hey, yeah, and of course, yes, that is a big part of why X-Men sucks. Is because of VV's favorite writer, Teenie Howard. But as good as Marvel is about marketing their merchandise, in particular their movie-related stuff, I mean, they're excellent. I mean, great.
They take no stock in their comics whatsoever.
None. And it's like, what are you doing, dude? This is such an integral part of what you are and what you can be, because it's got to be a testing ground for new ideas.
Well, Kevin Feige came out. Yeah. Kevin Feige came out a long time ago and said that that's what they'll be using their comics for, as testing ground for upcoming cinematic projects. That's why stuff comes and goes and holds no weight. Like, look at Empire, look at World War She-Hulk. There's just so many pointless things they're doing that are just out of nowhere, off the reservation. Look at anything, what's in Jason Aaron's does. Like, it's all pointless. Well, it doesn't play to a bigger thing. It's just all over the place these days.
Well, and look at Thor. Okay, Donny Cates, they're one of their main writers. Somebody should have been fired at the editorial board, because the whole story now is that Mjolnir's missing, and Thor's looking for it. So he goes to Throg to get help. And in the cotton picking page where he's going to get help from Throg, there he is standing there with Mjolnir. Did anybody lose their job at Marvel over that?
Did you see what Daniel Warren Johnson did when he did the Beta Ray Bill miniseries? In issue number 1, you see a 2-page splash, and it's Daniel Warren Johnson's amazing, wicked, detailed, rough art of his entire ship, and it looked like it's been bisected. So it's almost like one of those old, like you buy those Titanic history books and shows you the boat split down with all the diagrams to each room. You actually see Marvel's editorial staff hidden in his ship.
Okay, I missed
he did a whole joke on like Marvel's editorial staff. I don't know how he got away with that. Did editorial not catch that he joked about Marvel not having editorial?
Well, and it's been done before, because I think it's a Daredevil book where they had ass pain as behind there. Nobody caught it. It's been done before, but yeah, editorial's asleep at the wheel when it comes to Marvel in particular.
They definitely are, because Joe Bennett had that typo on the window of the jewelry store. It said jewelry store, because like he was drawing backwards and in reverse, and he typoed the L on it, and everyone was crying, like, dude, give him a break. It's a typo.
Well, it's
on editorial just as much as it's on him.
Well, right. Yeah. And of course, he got thrown under the bus, but it was very convenient when he got thrown under the bus was when he's done working on Immortal Hulk.
Mm-hmm. After his use ran out.
Yeah. So, if you were really a standard bearer for all these people's rights, as you say you are, then you would have done it when it was inconvenient to you. It's kind of like Marvel saying, "Oh, well, yeah, we represent all these people's rights." Yet, when it comes to China, nope, we'll snip that out of there because we want it playing in the Chinese theaters.
Yep, Chinese theater. Well, that was it. When it was Middle Eastern theaters, there was like 4 countries in the Middle East, and they didn't say anything. But when the China market said not happening, they're like, yeah, actually, it is happening because you're the boss.
Exactly. And then, I mean, if you were really trying to raise a standard and show your moral superiority, Marvel, you would have said, screw you, China. This is the way it is. This is what we believe. They don't believe fat meat's greasy. And anybody that believes that they do, I've got some oceanfront property for you in Oklahoma. So
that's better than the Arizona beachfront property you were selling last time.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm moving.
So he's improved on his property even. So jump in there now. Get it while the getting's good.
Oh, but yeah, it's quite something. So
yeah, I think people should be free to believe what they believe, like 100%. But it's laughable when people try to use Disney as a standard bearer or give them praises for it. I had a good friend on my show last Sunday that was really proud of Marvel for taking the stance with Eternals and pushing the envelope for personal reasons. But then you see this since then, like what have they really done? Nothing. They actually made this decision with Eternals and went the direction they did because they thought that it would play to their benefit. But it's called the vocal minority for a reason. They're loud, but there's not as many people that are bringing the money to you for it. And they're going to be suffering the same pains with the comic books, to Perry's point that he asked about, look at John Kent in the mainstream news. While what's going on with John Kent does not bother me one bit with him coming out as bisexual, I think it's a safe bet move on DC's part to a degree, because you bring him out as bisexual now, and then another writer takes over him down the road. If it doesn't work out or play well to the masses, he was just growing up experimenting, and you never have to address it again.
Right. Yeah, and then that's a great point. Same thing with Tim Drake, right? Because you can say, oh, he goes either way. But, with John Kent, that's one thing, okay? Because John Kent is a newer character, at least at that age.
He's only had one relationship before, period. And it wasn't even a serious thing. It was with Saturn Girl.
Mm-hmm. But, I mean, but he's a different age. And to your point, you could always play that off. Tim Drake has never been that way.
Been around since 86?
89?
89, 86, 89, late 80s. He's been around just as long as I have.
And he's never been that way. What purpose, what story arc benefit does that make happen? None. The people that you try to make happy with that are not the ones buying your comics.
But they're happy. They're happy with it. They'll congratulate you. They'll leave a comment on social media. They'll sit there and be very loud and vicious to people that are detractors of the idea, but they won't go spend the money.
So aggressively says using all the characters in the different books has been incredible. World War She-Hulk is the payoff of the recent Namor stories and catalyst for changing her back. Yeah, I mean, even if you like it, I think it's a mistimed storyline.
Well, I didn't read World War She-Hulk.
Back,
I don't know what he means by changing her back. I didn't read World War She-Hulk, but I was aware of her becoming the immortal She-Hulk and all the Gamma characters having that immortal factor, because it's all addressed in Immortal Hulk, and also in the finale of it, because of the events of the finale of it, there are no characters that are left with that immortality option. The door was sealed. So it was. So even if you didn't read World War She-Hulk, you're more still just you're good to go.
Well, and really, but the investors, Bub, this is what they're worried about. Okay, so then if you make the people mad or upset, whatever, disinterested, disenfranchised, that are buying your stuff, that's shooting yourself in the foot. I do get the idea of bringing in new readership, and there are newer ideas that I might or not like, but other people might like. That's fine. That's what I mentioned with Jonathan Kent. Okay, whatever, do it. But when you go back for no apparent reason with all these other ones, you don't benefit anybody.
Yeah. And the thing with you're limiting your readership too, because like taking out, like not getting into the equality or equal representation thing, like you do have to look at the numbers. Like if you're being honest about all this and your job is to write good stories for the masses, you don't want your books to, like in an unbalanced way, reflect your actual masses. So you go to the population, you start playing the numbers. What statistical analysis can you go and look at to see what is the number of this demographic? What is the number of that demographic? So if you're now hitting 50% of your books are being played toward a demographic that only represents 7% of your readers, how is that beneficial to your bottom line? So I'm still picking up Jonathan Kent books, but what's happened is I've been a huge Jonathan Kent fan for a long time. I really enjoy the character. I like the Connor Superboy. I've just always liked Superboy characters. But now with this, like, it doesn't make me like the character less, but there's a level that I do not relate to him anymore on. I feel more detached from this character than I did beforehand. I don't like him any less. I can't, I can't relate with them on a lot of stories now. Like moving forward, the stories that they're going to be telling, the heartfelt moments, this and that, aren't going to hit me like they would have or have in the past. So you're taking your actual fan base that you're supposed to be writing to, and you're taking their story experience away. Mm-hmm. And that's something, I'm not crying foul and stopping picking it up. I'm just being honest, and that's going to happen to the overwhelming majority of your readers. Because again, like between Aqualad, Tim Drake, Superboy, Crush, like it's across the board right now. And I know DC's pushing hard just to try to get back on par with what they feel is the proper standard. Marvel did it back in 2015, 2016. Sure. So it feels really unbalanced right now, and it is. That's okay. It's growing pains. It's going to be rough for a little while before it gets better and the dust settles and you land on whatever is going to be kind of the playing field moving forward. But they have to find it.
Yeah, and but if you're really doing it to make a statement that you're okay with whatever, okay, why would you not just make a new character and build that character out?
They were trying to do a power move, and Superboy was an accessible character with a big name, and he's got the S on his chest, and I can understand that from a marketing standpoint, or really because so many times when you're trying to do the whole representation thing, they play it safe by doing it with a throwaway character,
right?
And Jonathan Kent's, he's the biggest probably name that they've done it with, so that they're trying to make a power move and do something brave, because making a character like gay or bisexual is not brave in 2021. It's not shunned upon, but doing it to such a big character that could cause such strife is brave. Well, it's gutsy is what it is. Financially irresponsible possibly, but they did it. So we'll see how it works out. It looks good. I like the dark ones, but I don't know what. I don't know. Here, let me see that. We'll find out. We're taking the kids to the fair here in just a few. Which pants go with this outfit?
Look, I don't even dress myself. My wife picks out my clothes.
If my wife was smart, she'd pick mine too.
Yeah,
that's a good point. Bubs, they're looking to not lose the lawsuits over dollars of readership. But I don't see why people aren't. Perry said dark pants. That's the ones I said, Perry. Appreciate it.
Did you get the John Jang Ninjak one? Okay, there it is in the corner there.
No, that's just not it. That's the MegaCon exclusive. That's the standard.
Okay.
Yeah, I got both of them.
Yeah, I ordered it. I made a mistake and ordered it from Frankie's Comics.
So it came in yesterday.
No, it ain't even shipped yet.
You didn't order it the day it released, did you?
Yeah.
What? That was before I went on vacation, before I got the COVID and all that.
Yeah, it's been because I went back and
Since
pulled my
July.
email up, and so I forwarded it to them. I was like, "Hey, now, in fairness to them, I also had House of Slaughter in there." So
That's still too far apart, man. Like if they want to play that game, we'll fulfill your order when the last book shows up, dude. They would never have to ship books, period, for some people.
yeah, well, so okay, I'm going to give them a buy for that, one, right? But then
That's 6 months difference, man.
But then the House of Slaughter, the House of Slaughter one got released 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, and you still haven't.
The week before, no, last week or the week before at best. I still have them sitting right here. I haven't filed them yet, even.
The Uncanny Kyle Walker. What is going on?
She said, or we can put her in. Now that people are weighing in, she wants to know more options, or this one. But this one's more free flowing. What if she gets caught up in a ride and drug into the gears?
She's not going to be on a ride that serious.
And crushed miserably.
She's not going to be on a ride that serious. She's tiny.
I like this one. It's got animals.
I know, isn't that cute?
It is cute.
And it'll go with her red ladybug sweater.
She's going to be riding the teacup ride with you, Mark. So
I hope so.
Me.
Oh, with
Maybe.
you. But yeah, I mean, it's taking way too long. What is up, Lisa?
So I ordered. What do I have on order from them that I've been waiting on for? Oh, the Department of Truth number 11. Yeah, the number 11. Like we're up to 13. And it was in hand, ready to ship, and I didn't have anything else with them at all. And I'm contemplating stopping using them, even though I get free shipping with them. But that's why I keep going back to them and waiting.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, now I have that and the Canto book, Lionhearted, that he just came out with. So I have two. So I think I'm going to message him like, dude, I've been waiting on this book for months that y'all advertise as in hand, because everything that Frankie's gets, everything are just allocations from Golden Apple. Mm-hmm. Golden Apple are the holders of these exclusives. And so Golden Apple gets them in, checks for damages, puts them aside, keeps all their books, and sends whatever's left plus the damages to Frankie's. That's why you'll see that Frankie's comes with like books that the 9.2 or better thing. You're more likely to get the not or better option if there are any. But I absolutely like to support him because Kevin Fields is a good guy. The guy who runs it, he's open, he's receptive. I know for a while there, what was it, 2 summers ago, he was kicking people out of his closed groups and blocking people and refunding orders left and right. See, at least I canceled that. Well, I don't cancel Jang. They canceled it, or you canceled it. Okay. So I'm thinking about, well, you can't cancel pre-orders once you buy them. That's part of the stipulation of getting pre-orders. Once you order it unless they bypass some kind of time frame by law, which they'll even argue tooth and nail with you about and reach out to Rob Fatsacks if you need the actual law code to reference and send them. He's done it. Because if they give you that's why these shops won't give you projected send dates. Because if they give you a suggested send date, they have to be held to that. Most people don't know that. I didn't know this, but Rob had ordered a book pre-graded 9.8 from somewhere, and when it hit the 1 year mark, which was a couple of months past the projected mark, he reached out to him and said, "I'd like to just cancel this and spend it on something else. This is taking way too long." They try to throw up, "No, you went into an agreement, blah, blah, blah." And he actually stated the code for online purchasing and stuff because he deals with stuff like that. And they wanted to give him some lip. And then he threw something else at him, and they got the owner of the store. And he's like, "Yeah, we'll gladly just let you spend it somewhere else." But,
and that's when he twirled his little mustache.
Twirled his mustache. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I bought mine through PayPal or not, or if I use my card. I don't know. I probably just use my card. I don't normally pay through PayPal when I'm going through shops.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, it's just taking way too long. I mean, I've dealt with big time collectibles,
top of the line,
even 616. Well, I've even Golden Apple. I mean, I didn't have a problem with them. They sent me, they missed sending me a book. They sent it right back out to me.
Big Time Collectibles is top notch. Use Comic Shields. They ship out quick. They update people on their own. because they're excited about their merchandise. They're excited that people are supporting them, and they're excited to bring those two things together like butt cheeks.
And they're really nice. I've met them at different cons.
Nelson
And
Nelson and his wife are awesome.
Well, and Frankie's he's nice too.
Yeah, Kevin, he is. He just doesn't. I don't want this to sound bad, but he just doesn't have it together like most shops do. He doesn't have a system in play. This, that, and the third. I don't know how he's still so far behind. Like he chalked it up to opening a store back when Clayton Crane was on a signing tour 2 tours ago, and nothing sped up. Nothing has sped up.
Well, I didn't realize that was him at that Dallas Fan Expo. And
when you picked up my book for me?
Yeah, I didn't realize that was him. Because that first day I went over there and they didn't have it. So he said, yeah, they got it. It's at the hotel room, but I won't have it till tomorrow. So I come back the next day, picked it up from him. He said, well, you could order it off the website. I said, no, I'd just rather pick it up because y'all take way too long to do y'all stuff. And I didn't know it was him.
That's good that he heard that.
He didn't even say anything to it. He's like, oh, okay. So then I went over there and I was talking to another YouTuber. And he said, yeah, I just met the owner of Frankie's. He was over there at the table. I said, really? That was him?
Aggressive. Exactly. Cut to black.
Hey, that would be a diabolical, Pocan Joe out there trying to put something together. Rob, sitting there doing his little mustache right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Wow. That would be very diabolical. What is up, Papa Willie? How are you? Man, this man went crazy. He come into an auction I was in last night. I had a whole bunch of bronze and copper Superman up for sale. And he was just like, claim all, claim all, claim all. I'm like, good grief.
Oh,
wow. Appreciate you for making it rain in the right direction. Good, sir. One of the channel members. Appreciate it. So usually when Papa Wheelie pops into, that pun intended, pops into a chat somewhere, Lisa Noble, not Lisa Noble, Teresa Newell is usually somewhere around keeping an eye on him. So it's kind of fun. Maybe I'll speak her into the chat or something. What's going on, Justin, with No Good Comics? Just crossed over that 1,000 subscriber mark. Congratulations.
You just celebrated this past Monday too, right?
Yeah, I had a big hangout over there, over on his channel, a whole bunch of people on the channel. One day I'm going to get big enough to where he's going to invite me over there on his Saturday show, and, he can interview me. So one day.
I told him I was going to, right before we went live, I said, I'm just going to throw you a curveball and just start asking you all the questions.
Right?
What is this X-Men news you speak of, Justin?
Yeah, do they have X-Men news? So I hear talking about talking about X-Men. We were talking about this earlier, Justin.
He said, "Dang it!" Why'd you have to say "dang it," Justin?
I had to. I heard that Jonathan Hickman is returning to X-Men in some form or fashion. So, what's your hot take on that, Justin from No Good Comics?
Brandon Comics Kings, who interviews like all those big name creators and stuff and all that. He had, I forget her name, but she works on X Books and
Leah Williams.
Yeah, she said that people act like Hickman's off X-Men and everything. He's not the direct credited writer, but all of the X Book title writers go to him and they check with him on everything they're doing. Not every fine detail and all that, but that he's almost like an out-of-store owner. You know what I mean? Like Disney Plus, they just announced 2023. We talked about that earlier today. Yeah, I don't know why that's not exciting for me. They're going to taint what so great history we have of it. Who knows what they'll.
Well, that is the danger you run with that.
Don't play to my nostalgia. I've learned better. Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, my Gambit and Rogue Pops are up there.
Yeah, I had to get the Gambit one. It's my favorite X-Men. I actually won this one. I won like 4 of them. I let the kids open 2 of them, and I kept Goliath from Gargoyles and the Gambit one.
So, what kind of big books are you in the market for? You think you're going to end up with a 1 through 6 Hulk or anything this year?
I don't think I'm going to pull it off this year. It's so close to the holiday season right now, and definitely one's not on the table. But yeah, I'll probably. It didn't work out this year. I wanted to just pick up any one of the 1 through 6 this year. I've held a couple of them in my hands, and the day that I passed on it, I ran into a steal of a deal on a 180. So that actually worked out for the better, because in the grand scheme of things, like I think Hulk books are going to heat up because of the inevitable hype train that's coming on this current run, no matter how good or bad it is. But that kind of stuff dies back down, maybe. But I was glad to get that 180 before anything big hits with the MCU, and because that book is slowly creeping up right behind 181. They're hitting unobtainable, which I'm happy to see them hit now that I own them both.
Sure. Yeah, well, it's like that second appearance thing, you know.
That was X-Men Evolution, I think, is the one he's talking about.
Well, there was a show back in the day, Pride of the X-Men, and Wolverine was an Australian. Of course, if you're talking about live action, you're also talking about Hugh Jackman. But
he said cartoon, because there's been cartoon-wise, they did the pilot for the X-Men early 90s series. It had a completely different roster on it.
Yeah, the Pride of the X-Men did have the Australian guy.
Is that the one that had like Colossus and Juggernaut battling briefly,
Dazzler.
And had Toad and Pyro?
Yeah,
Lockheed was in it.
Yeah, because Dazzler was in it.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was the X-Men arcade game back in the day that had this same cast of characters in it. But then when they decided to go with X-Men, the animated series, they had a different cast.
Mm-hmm.
Jubilee, joined. And
then cartoon-wise, you had, of course, X-Men Evolution, but then they did this really, really good quality animated series called Wolverine and the X-Men. Mm-hmm. It was top-notch. Like X-Men Evolution was actually really good. It had like a linear story going through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
But that X-Men Wolverine and the X-Men was above and beyond good. I think I have that whole box set down there.
What is going on, Nosh? How are you?
Big Nosh
is talking about Hulk. He had to join in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
He had to do it. Well, so what do you got? Fix to wrap things up. Appreciate you for jumping on today.
Yeah.
What you got going on over on your channel? Or maybe the better way to ask this question is, what do you not have going on over on your channel? Because you're going
auction. For all my auction wants and needs, I hop over here to the Southern Comic Geek every Saturday for the Saturday Morning Cartoon Crew, where you can find a whole variety of amazing titles for the most affordable prices possible. And the best thing you can do is come over, hang out in the chat, enjoy the conversation, and kick it with the community while you wait on the book you've been looking for to pop up when you least expect it. So don't blink. Be there.
And so that's why Mark gets all these sponsorships. Because you see how he just segued right into that? See how he just segued right into that?
You threw the softball. All I did was just hit the home run. That's all.
There you go.
Now, tomorrow I'm going to be posting the Legion list where I go through my pulls for the week. I narrowed it down to just what I'm reading because that's what I'm passionate about. And that takes up enough time to go through what I'm reading each week and kind of break down why you should be excited for them. If you're not familiar with them, give you a little insight on them. Every Sunday night is At Week's End, which is a spoiler-filled look back at this week in comics and so much more. And I'm normally joined by my Canadian heterosexual life partner, the Comic Vet, as well as my 10-gallon love child from Texas, Ryan, the new guy. And beyond that, it's just I upload a video on Mondays and Wednesdays. I try to go live on Tuesdays since I'm off for a little bit of DC Day love. My wife's over here dancing in her new outfit.
It's not new. It's just
She's dancing in her not new outfit. Oh, it's in season. Is it pumpkin spiced?
Might be.
I'll taste it later.
Pumpkin spice. It's time for some good pumpkin spice.
Yeah. But yeah, good
Peppermint mocha.
Peppermint
That's what I'm
mocha.
waiting it out for.
Okay.
I'm
So
more of a
every
latte
Friday,
guy.
if you're in the chat and you don't know, every Friday I do my community hangout where I'm off on Fridays. I know it's an odd day to do it. A lot of people work, but at 7:30 in the morning, I go live and I just ride it out till the day takes me away from it. Community members just pop in and out all throughout the live stream. And like last week went for 8 hours. This week I capped it at 5 because we got the fair tonight and I wanted to try to keep the kids on schedule, But it's always a good time. Who knows what we'll do? Last Tuesday I did an unplanned mystery box battle with the Big Time Collectibles Holiday Mystery Box. Had myself, DJ Links, Sector 2815, Nick's Kicks and Comics, E-Man all on there. And we had a special celebrity guest, John Jang himself, popped in. And it was a good time hanging out and having fun. So
Awesome. Well, I dropped your link to your channel. If people have been hiding under a rock somewhere and we're not familiar with your channel, then certainly go over there, give this guy a sub.
yeah, big 1K subscriber giveaways coming soon. I'm way late on it, but I've been waiting on all kinds of merchandise. I've got original art pages from Green Lantern, signed stuff that Jang A-OK to the channel to give away, and some key comics out of first appearance of Darkseid going out because I'm a big DC guy, and a bunch of people are donating stuff. But I'm trying to be organized for once in my life, so it's taking me a while to get it all figured out.
Well, you're gonna be at 2,000 subs by the time you get it figured out.
That's fine. Last I checked, no, I'm not forced to do any of this. If you want to become a member, hit that join button, and then you can talk about timestamps. Those things I keep on time with.
Oh boy! All right. So as far as here, we do have the monthly giveaway of this right here.
Ooh-wee.
It's a ASM 252 newsstand copy, first appearance of the Black Costume, at least.
How many copies of that book do you have?
This one?
Yeah. Why
Just
your voice
this one.
brains like that? This one? I always assume you're not giving away your only copy of these books.
Well, most of what I give away are not PC books.
That's why I was wondering is that even one that you try to keep in your PC?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not a lot of Spider-Man that I keep in my PC. Early on, when I was building my X-Men runs and Batman and stuff, I just had to kind of make the call. Somebody's fixed to get the cut, so Spidey got it.
I always want to ask, since you completed your X-Men run and then started taking it apart, you reluctantly started working on your Hulk run, very reluctantly. I'm not collecting Hulk, but I did grab this book.
Right.
I was going to ask if Spider-Man's after Hulk.
No, Spider-Man's not after Hulk. But no, I am working on Hulk. I'm only 4 away from having 200 forward.
Oh, nice.
So
I've got 234 forward, and from 102 to 234, I'm probably missing 20 books.
Okay.
And that's taking 1 through 6 out of the equation. That's a separate height. But I'm also going complete on Tales to Astonish with mine, and I've got a little better than half of Tales to Astonish.
Yeah, especially on the first half of Tales to Astonish, even before. I mean, those can get some.
When it was monster books, that's actually the most challenging part. It's not affording them, but finding them.
Yeah,
I've got 2 issues in the single digits, and it's just they don't go up for sale. People don't come off of them, or it's just late 50s and stuff, and they're just not. They weren't in abundance, and they didn't get saved. Just monster books came and went, kind of thing. They're hard to find. Yeah. But I'm soft collecting those when they pass by me, as you would say, when they pass by me at the right price at the right time. Otherwise, I just watch them go by.
Right. Yeah. I think I'm just going to do where Hulk enters into the series.
59.
59. Okay.
59. The cover of him flying through the air, getting ready to knock that giant SOB out.
Yeah. So
Wife Peter. Yes.
So yeah, that's that would be, well, be better if I.
Yeah. The kid's got more energy than most adults ever.
But
Yeah, 59 is where they brought him in, and 60 is kind of the retelling of his origin and lining it up with where he had been and moving forward. There's
I think
so
that's
many
what
Hulk keys inside of Tales to Astonish. The Furk Hulk Smash. I think we talked about that last time I was here. All kinds of stuff. Characters left and right. But you got first Wasp, first Giant Man, first Ant-Man in costume, first Groot, first Black Knight for the second Black Knight, because there's been 3 of them over the years. I bought that book. I've had it unboxed for about 4 months now, where it just hasn't made its way to unboxing. So much stuff.
Yeah, first Groot, that's a kind of a pricey one there too.
Yeah, I had that Where Monsters Dwell, which is his actual second appearance. Everyone's like, "Ooh, Hulk annual second appearance of Groot." No, it's not. It's really not. His technical second appearance of Groot is Where Monsters Dwell 20-something, where it's literally the same cover and it's just a reprinting of his book. So there was a Marvel series called Where Monsters Dwell, which was reprintings of other monster books from earlier, repackaged into a monster line to keep monster books moving toward the end of the monster era hype. That was his actual second appearance.
So I was talking to my wife last night about just like nuances. Well, there you go, Papa Willie.
Oh, appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
But yeah, so I was talking to my wife last night about the nuances that a 9.0 and a 9.0, same slab company, side by side, are not always equal.
And was she rolling your eyes through this whole conversation?
Well, yeah. So you kind of beat me to the punch of that. So, so yeah, you could have
picturing my wife.
Mark Jewelers. You could have newsstand versus direct, et cetera, et cetera. And so she was yawning and rolling her eyes at the same time.
This is literally what she asks you to say just to get her to bed every night. Right. Honey, tell me a bedtime story. Well, let me tell you about slabs tonight, honey. Thank you.
Let me tell you about this Hulk 181 and the story of how I got it and how it's this and how it's that. So talking about
Hulk, the artist changed the face.
So talking about Hulk 181. So I unboxed my Hulk 181 when it came back from CGC after getting signed by Roy Thomas.
Yay, player move on your part. Because it didn't come back with no green on it, did it?
No, the purple. Yeah, the purple, 182. Yeah. It came back untrimmed. But so but the funny thing was, so I've done this months ago. And I get this guy that randomly watches my video. So he decides to comment on my video. And he gives me this long lecture how I didn't know what in the world I was talking about with Roy Thomas, that I needed to do my homework. And I'm like, dude, it's my YouTube channel. If I just want to spout, if politicians can spout lies all day long on national media, then I can spout wrong stuff on my YouTube channel.
Kind of what we vote for them to do. Tell us what we want to hear, right?
Exactly. So yeah, I started to say something and even acknowledge him, but I
want to go over there now. And that was like 6 months ago? I can find it.
Yeah, it was a while back. Yeah. It was crazy.
I'll go have a conversation with him for funsies. I love to debate with people.
Well, and normally when I'm having any of my videos, I'll say, hey, look, let me know down below what y'all think, or I'm not sure about this, let me know. And people will respond and say, hey, this is this or this is that, the first appearance of that. And hey, I appreciate that because I asked for it. I just thought it was kind of funny, like in his case.
One time you don't ask for it and don't need it.
Well,
what was he critiquing?
If I could, I should just take like a picture of my Hulk 181 wall over here and just say, all right,
take a picture of it and put it on your community tab. That's the closest you can do.
Oh, yeah, that is a good idea. But I wasn't necessarily looking to stir up and stoke fires either. But yeah, so the other night.
It's called a microaggression, Jason. You'll be fine. He'll know. He'll know.
So, yeah, the other night on Meta's channel, they sold it.
And
it was
a
a nice
Cat Fan that facilitated the purchase?
Hmm?
Didn't Cat Fan 90 get tasked with facilitating the
Yeah, I don't know if he just had PayPal or what it was the deal while he was in the middle of it, but yeah, he facilitated the purchase. And
Well, a lot of times, I guess if the buyer doesn't know the seller but knows the middleman, that's
Makes
understandable for certain.
yeah,
I
it's a
would
great piece
want to
of
do
work.
that, but then again, I would never buy 8K anything over. I mean, I would be handing cash to somebody. This, that'd be like an even in hand kind of thing. There would be no lag time with my 8K, but that's because I don't roll in those
Yeah.
funds. I'm not in that
See,
tax bracket.
what my hesitancy with something like that is not only because I don't know those people that were selling that. Maybe the other people did, but I don't know them. It's different when you've kind of had a lot of interactions with people where you
Mhm.
bought and sold stuff from people and you've had good,
Even
deals.
if it was my friend Jason, I wouldn't want it to come in between us. You know what I mean? Like, what if something
Yeah.
doesn't go as planned? But I do have to dip off here. I know I drug you longer than you wanted to go, even. But I'm
Yep.
getting
Yep.
the snap to go get Finn. I've been Thanos
All right, man.
snap. I must disappear.
All right. Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right. So yeah, but even if it, I don't know. I mean, I like Mark was saying, I'd want to be holding it in my hand, look at it, because there's just so much that a pitcher can miss, not intentionally, just inadvertently. Schwab for Comics, what is going on? How are you? Yeah, but excuse me, almost fell over. Yeah, I was watching and I was like, but appreciate everybody for showing up today. So again, this month's giveaway is this ASM 252. The way you get entered to win that is to either be a member of the Patreon and or YouTube membership. Every membership gets you 10 entries to win, and then every dollar of super chat over the month of November will get you 1 entry to win. All the names go on the wheel. And last month, Discovery Bay won the X-Men 4. So that is on its way out to him. And so if you're interested, you're watching this on the rewind, you want to get in on that, that's how you do it. The links are in the description below. Hopefully everybody is doing great today. Want to again shout out the channel members, the people that are supporting channel through their monthly membership. If you see a name up here, most of these people are content creators themselves. Many of them are in the chat, and you see the little logo there beside their name. If you are interested in joining that list, the links are in the description below. But if you see any of these names that you are not familiar with, go check them out. Write their names down. Go check them out over on YouTube and see what you can find out. We do want to always see about saving some money. So visit bcwsupplies.com. Use the coupon code SCG at checkout to save yourself 10% on your order. So I'm about to get out of here, folks. Hopefully there will not be, if you're watching this at the taping live, or at least the same day of it, November the 12th, then there will not be a Saturday auction tomorrow. I've got some other stuff that I'm going to be doing tomorrow, so we'll not be able to do the auction as usual, but plan to be back the following weekend as usual. Probably going to go maybe live on Whatnot at some point today or tomorrow. See about some stuff. Boo, boo, boo this man, boo. It's just one of those things that happen sometimes. Okay. But anyway, so do appreciate everybody. Appreciate Mark for jumping on, going live with us. Go check him out if you're not familiar with Legion of Comics. And until next time, keep reading, keep collecting. Adios.